Well, hi Kate, welcome to the HumanWindow YouTube channel.
Thank you.
And I guess I wanted to start by asking you how you began your fitness journey from the beginning until now, where you're a master trainer at Birdspace.
Yeah, awesome. So I kind of played sport all my life. So hockey was a major part of growing up for me. My sisters played, so I've always been really active. So I kind of played international hockey up until the end of university. So I went to Loughborough Sporting Uni, did sports science. So for me, it's always been part of my kind of everyday life. And then when it came to that time of choosing career, what do I do? That for me was then like, I want to be able to take kind of my passion onto other people and get them to have fitness and sport or work moving really as part of their everyday life, rather than it feeling like this chore all the time. So began then personal training, which I always loved, and doing lots of one-to-one stuff. And then from there really missed the kind of team environment. So now I've moved on to teaching more classes, started in a smaller studio and then kind of built from there, and now working at Third Space, teaching classes and kind of educating new instructors as well. So it's kind of started from that sporting hockey, which I still play now, just not as seriously. Used to be a lot better than I am now, but still play, and that kind of is still my passion, and still I think comes into play when I teach and that sort of thing.
So you mentioned obviously playing hockey and playing hockey for England as well. How has that kind of shaped your fitness beliefs and your values, and kind of shaped you as a person when it comes to how you approach your own fitness and, like you said, doing the group stuff?
Yeah, so I kind of have a bit of a motto, is if you train like an athlete, look like an athlete. So it's one of those things, but athletes come in all sorts of sizes, right? From pole vaulters to sprinters to marathon runners. So whatever that idea is of what you know, what you might want to look like, or whether you want to be the fittest that you can be, athletes are at the top of their game. So then why can't everyday person that has a normal 9 to 5 or an 8 to 8 job be able to train like an athlete? So I think my kind of foundations from all my hockey training, from some of the top kind of strength and conditioning coaches at Loughborough, is being able to take what I've been put through and done, and then being able to kind of bring that to everyone. And I also think it brings an understanding, like I've been there when you're all dying in class or dying in a personal training session, as you well know. It's that, like, I have been there. Like I've done those early morning sessions, done 2 sessions, 3 sessions a day, and kind of I feel that pain, and I feel like hopefully that comes through, and that people are then able to use that as well to keep working through it.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, having done your classes, like there is a great emphasis on movement and like kind of moving away so much from the weights, but actually being agile. And do you think that's like a very underrated element when it comes to people going to the gym? Like there's that focus on doing the weights and like that's how you're going to get the body. But
I think sometimes we really focus on the end goal too much. So where we always want to be, like it takes time. So then bringing in different elements and not just doing the same thing keeps it fun, keeps you motivated, that you don't always come and do the same thing, and your body's then always guessing. So one of the classes, you know, the speed, agility, quickness stuff, that's then going to help people to become stronger, to become faster. Then that helps them with their strength training, and all of these together then get people fitter, healthier. So it's about, for me, kind of creating that rounded individual, especially when we're, you know, teaching everyday members that aren't top athletes but are super fit people that want to come and get a great workout. Is creating that kind of rounded, every single element from that sporting background that is that strength, then it's working more on that speed, agility, keeping it a bit more fun, and movement. As you say, it's a huge thing that most people in jobs don't move that much. Have clients that have done 3,000 steps a day. If, you know, what we're told is do 10,000 a day, then probably we should be doing a little bit more if we want to. So movement is key. And if it's one class, but you never move from 2 feet, from just doing the same thing, then how can we ever evolve? So for me, movement, getting people trying something new is a really big thing that's really important.
Yeah. I also noticed that you're a stress management coach, and I know part of the reason I go to the gym is to work off that stress and all that kind of the nervous energy that you can get. Could you kind of explain how you became involved in that, and maybe what it means to someone who's not sure what a stress management coach does and what they can bring?
Yeah, so I think it all started when I started working with lots of people that had business, jobs or a normal 9-to-5 job. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress that goes on, and from home life. I think London especially, we have such a pressure that we all need to be working, we have to be better, we have to be getting a higher salary, and it's go, go, go. Look around on the tube and everyone's like, oh my God, hurry up, I need to get to work, but no one really wants to go. So for me, it was a really important thing for me to be able to progress my clients and to be able to tailor programs to people that are relevant for them. So if you're super stressed, then your cortisol levels are going to be really high. So you're running on adrenaline all the time. So that fight or flight, which we always want to have. We want to have those up and downs during the day, but we need to be able to recover. But when we have those super high stress work environment, and maybe home as well, whatever it might be, then we're always running up here. And we need to be able to bring it down, come up. The gym is a great place where you can kind of have that moment for yourself, whether it's 45 minutes, an hour, it might be a strength class that you do or personal training that allows you some time that for sometimes it needs to be a little bit of recovery. It's being able to vent, or it's being able to come do a yoga class and actually chill and take that moment back. So kind of got into it originally with Harry Jameson, who I worked with, and then worked with a company called VRV, who do a lot of this stress management, and being able to actually assess and taking someone for yourself and going through, okay, what are you doing day to day? Can you get out at lunch? When is your downtime? What's your life like at home? Do you drink a bottle of red every night? What are we doing to our bodies that actually, it's not just that 45 minutes in the gym, it's actually trying to create for people an entire program of their lives. And being able to look at kind of wellness so much more than just the gym, smash it in there, and then you're expected to suddenly lose weight, feel great, but actually you've got a long job, you've got kids to look after, you're knackered, you don't have time to food prep. Well, what can we look at as a whole? And kind of that stress side of it is then really assessing what's your day to day? What is your every hour of your day? And how can we then create that program that gives you time to chill? 15 minutes out at lunchtime, taking a walk away from your desk can make a huge difference to your entire day. Coming home and having a shower before you then see your family, having a shower using lavender shower gel, small things, and then getting into different clothes, not your work clothes, can take you out of that work mindset. So trying to implement for me is looking at people's entire life, not just the fitness side of it, and being able to kind of create, as I say, like a wellness program for someone.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I have to say, obviously, Third Space has it's of all the gyms I've been to, I think it's the one where I do almost feel like the people that you're training with are almost like athletes as well. Like there's a very kind of high quality of person or trainer that goes there.
Yeah.
I know you're like a big advocate for MyZone and potentially other fitness trackers. I was kind of interested to learn more from you what you feel like they can bring and kind of enhance somebody's training experience. Yeah,
so I think it's a really important element to be able to track what we're doing. I think sometimes there's so many options these days we can over track, but if we don't look at what we're doing, and we're coming to the gym every day, or you don't monitor, or you're not self-aware of what, say, you're eating, or how much water you're drinking, or how many steps you're taking, how do you know that you're being the healthiest kind of version of yourself? So you might not be overweight or anything, where telltale signs, but are you the healthiest kind of version of yourself? So for me, I think it's a really good investment to be able to look into something like MyZone. So in the gym, MyZone allows you to kind of keep yourself honest and accountable. So when you come to the gym, are you actually pushing as hard as you can do, saying you're doing a hard cardio session? You should be getting that heart rate up 80-90% of that max heart rate, so that you know you're getting those results. At the same time, it's also assessing, I've had the craziest week, I've been working 10-hour days, I'm really tired, I'm stressed out. Is that then the time to be going 80-90%, smashing yourself? No. And that might be the time to get to the gym do a gentle jog, do a yoga, do something to get the heart rate up. But then you can use a MyZone for then looking at keeping yourself within maybe 70%, 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. So it's not always about, oh yeah, smashed it again, smashed it again, smashed it again, which often happens because you get points of working out. It's actually looking at it as a wider tool. Okay, great. I did 2 super hard sessions this week. I'm going to make sure I have 2 more medium. And I'm going to assess what I've done that week to be able to then chill it out a little bit and use it as that. Another great way of using the heart rate trackers is to be able to check your recovery. So you know you're getting fitter if you recover quicker. So if you're getting the heart rate up to 80% and then you have a 30-second gap and it's dropping back down to 65, awesome. Your body's able to adapt quicker, replenish the oxygen in your muscles, which is a good sign that you're fitter, healthier, recovering better. So I think it's a really important element to have it with that recovery side. And then something else, some more PTs is steps. A really simple way is getting people moving more. So being able to, you're wearing one, I'm wearing one, everybody's wearing it, but actually just being able to look at what you've done in the day. So maybe that motivates you to then go to the gym in the evening if you know you've done 2,000 steps because you've been in a meeting all day. You know, okay, actually my body's just been sitting, I need to move, I need to do something. So actually being able to kind of track your daily movement, assess, are you hitting the 10,000 or do I need to be upping that? It might be you do way more at the weekend, that's fine, it balances out, but making sure that we're kind of aware and tracking where we're at, because if we don't, how do we ever know? And how do we make that change to becoming healthier, fitter, and kind of leading that healthier lifestyle?
It's interesting because like I feel like I'm in the bracket you described earlier where I'm like constantly looking for the red and the yellow, and I've not really thought about the kind of greater picture of like, should I be doing 5 to 6 like red or yellow workouts every single? But then there's the competitive element when you're in the class of other people, and I think you're like-minded people that obviously are there to like, and
then push you. And that's really where, for me, one of the reasons of Third Space is that different classes that we offer allow you to then go, okay, actually I'm going to go and do a yoga, or I'm going to go do lifts, so a strength training where it's going to be a lower heart rate. I'm still going to work hard, but it's a different emphasis. It is not cardio 80-90% where cortisol levels again are going to go shoot through the roof, and then we slowly, our central nervous system is like, help me, what can I do? So really trying to find, okay, 3, 4, and assessing how are you finding that, how are you recovering, are you doing anything to recover, which we don't. I'm the worst. I'm always like, quick foam roll, and like, that'll do. But really important, because otherwise it will be 6 months down the line, or 4 months, 3 months, or as we've seen this year, January, crazy busy, everyone's on it, and then they kill themselves. They've done 2 sessions a day, 5 sessions a week or whatever, and then February comes around and they're knackered. And it's also grey and dark outside, which doesn't help us.
It makes it a lot harder to keep the motivation. You've been open with your battle with thyroid cancer in 2018, so I was kind of interested about how that experience is also like, maybe has your mentality towards fitness and health and wellness all changed since that happened? So
it was something that I kind of took in my stride. I felt I had to. Came out of nowhere. I was super lucky. A lot more people have it way worse. Couple of operations down the line, and then taking thyroxine every day it's almost a bit of a reminder that I have been really lucky, and we never know what's around the corner. So I think we take for granted so much when we're well. It's a bit like when you have a cold and then you suddenly can't breathe, and you're like, God, I really took for granted breathing. Right?
I've had that.
Man flu especially.
A lot worse, as we all know.
Definitely. And it's a little bit like that. I think, you know, for me, yes, a massive kind of point in my life, but something where it just makes me remind myself it could have been so much worse. There are people that can't work out. There are people that every day would love to be able to go for a run or go to the gym or just be able to move their bodies, and they can't. And I think that is a massive thing for me, that now when I'm like, I don't want to, I can't be bothered, I'm going to do this. It's well, you can. Enjoy it, do something you love, move your body however. It doesn't have to be something crazy, but actually just that reminder that you never know when something might change in your health. So for me, especially as a fitness professional, I was pretty healthy, looked after myself, you don't ever think, oh, it won't happen to me. But when it does, you think, oh, cool. So it doesn't matter where you are, but making sure that you kind of don't take for granted that you're able to walk down the street, you're able to go to the gym, and that kind of keeps as my motivation. I think that's a big thing that's changed for me in the way that I potentially train other people as well. Okay. Is that thing of when they don't want to, you can do it, and you never know what's going to happen, so why wouldn't you? And kind of create that best version of yourself. Yes, we all push, especially I think in London, it's like, got to be the best at work, got to earn the most, got to do this, and I'll get into work at 6 o'clock, but what about you as an individual? What do you do for yourself that is making you better? And if you're fitter, healthier, you can function better, you'll be less stressed, you'll be able to get that promotion that little bit more. It kind of is that whole package.
Yeah. You mentioned obviously like stress and the kind of London culture. Like, how do you feel also that fitness and exercise plays a big role in kind of mental health?
Yeah.
Like, how have you seen, I know from my own experience, like kind of speaking obviously not to the same level as thyroid cancer, but I started having panic attacks and anxiety for a while, around 2018 as well. Yeah. And it was kind of exercise that actually got me out of that, not necessarily being in the gym either. It was like hikes and stuff. Yeah. But I was kind of interested to see like, have you noticed kind of like just a general culture of more anxiousness and anxiety kind of, how can the exercise help with that?
Definitely, and I think it's a topic that now is spoken about a lot more. On social media, it's spoken about way more about depression, anxiety, and a thing that we all have down days, and we all have times where we struggle. And I think the gym and working out, whether it's a hike, whether it's yoga's your thing, or running, or whatever you find is that release, I think it's that headspace that you have by yourself, and it's not sitting in a room thinking about work and being like, I need to do this and I should be doing more. And I think we get into this a lot of kind of self-pressure on ourselves that we can do better and I can be doing more and I shouldn't just be sitting around. But finding something. Exercise is great because it releases endorphins. It's all the science behind it. It gives you that happy feeling. Not always, sometimes it's pretty hard. But most of the time it gives you that happy feeling. Getting outside, nature is a great way of being able to kind of get back to yourself. And I think what it does is it takes you out of your headspace of sitting in a room, I can't do this, where you kind of get a bit paralyzed sometimes. Or it might be having panic attacks, whatever that is, where you can't take your headspace into, no, you're okay, you can get through this, and being a little bit more logical. For me, running is a huge thing. I often get stressed and I can't work things, and I'm like, I've got so much to do. I'll go for a run, I'll come back, I've nailed it. I've got my plan together, and I'm like, right, I know what I'm doing, and then I'll be super on it for like an hour, and then I'll be like, what else can I do? So I think fitness, and it's really important about finding what works for you. So if it's hiking, amazing. Make sure that when you're super stressed, or like we said earlier about like a big thing might be for you getting out at lunchtime, going for a walk around and having that little time where you get a little bit of fresh air and raise that heart rate a little bit, that you can have that chat with yourself to sort it out. Some people, it might be doing a hard hit session where actually they get to forget about everything else, focus on their own body for a little while, and give themselves some me time where you don't feel guilty of doing that. And I think that's a big thing, is we feel guilty about giving ourselves a bit of love and time rather than focusing on everything else, which is super important. A massive rise we've seen is in strength training, and the kind of mental effects of strength training are huge in the way that when you're training, you can't focus on anything else. You need to be in that moment when you're doing a heavy squat, a heavy lunge, whatever it is. You have to be focusing on, what are my muscles doing? Where are my legs? If an instructor or your personal trainer, or even by yourself, are focusing on what you're doing with each movement, then you forget about work and everything else going on, and it's just about you. And also being able to see the difference. So with strength training, obviously if you start on 10 kilograms, 2 weeks later you're able to lift 12 and a half, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later you're on 15. It's like, that's a massive boost, and it's a really great way, a confidence boost, to be like, oh my God, amazing. I've improved so much, and I've done that all by myself. No one's done it for me. And I think that's a massive thing, especially in women. You've seen a big rise in strength training, and people feeling that they can do it and feeling empowered by it, rather than, how do you know a month ago how many burpees you were doing and now you're doing? So finding what works for you is so important. Don't go to the class that you dread every single day. Go and do something that you enjoy. Yes, it's going to be hard and you might be thinking through it, why on earth did I do this today? If you feel good after, then that's a good sign. And it's about finding that and what works for you in that way, I think.
You mentioned running, how much you love running, which brings me on nicely to the speed projects. So could you give us just explain to our viewers what the Speed Project 2020 is and how you've become involved, and how's training going?
Yeah, it's going. I had a meltdown earlier in the week, but it's all right. So basically, Speed Project, I'm running in a team of 10, relay style, from LA all the way to Las Vegas. So 340 miles through Death Valley. We are aiming to do it, we leave on 20th of March, 4 a.m. and then we're aiming to do it in around 40 to 44 hours. So we get in Saturday night into Vegas. So it appealed to me. I've always wanted to do a challenge. Also, no, I've never run further than 10k before this.
I saw you posted out on Instagram,
And I thought this will be the one to get me going. So at least 34 miles if we all do it equally. But depends what happens on the day. If people get injured, heat stroke, whatever might go on. But a member at the gym spoke to me about it March 2019. He's done quite a lot, ex-army, has done lots of big challenges. Did the 7 marathons in 7 days. Wow. Casual, so it was pretty hardcore. And he was talking to me about it last year, and I was like, that's epic, was really over the top about it, obviously. And so this year, a couple of months ago, he sent me an email. So, because you were so interested in the Speed Project last year, are you in for this year? And I couldn't really say no. So going in a month, so 4 weeks time, we set off. And as I say, relay style, we're gonna aim to do it. We have 2 teams of 5 in the RVs. Basically, one team runs 50k, probably breaking down to 5k's each, and then they will drive 50k whilst the other team do 50k, and we just keep it going.
Wow.
So all the way.
That sounds very, very intense.
So love running, but do I? I'm not sure.
Saturday night in Vegas will be good if you've all survived.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And the best thing is you get a poker chip with TSP written on it. That's all I'm doing it for.
And put it on black.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's obviously one goal for 2020.
Yeah.
Have you got any other goals for 2020?
So at the moment, I definitely, my aim is kind of do 2 challenges a year. Okay. So I've always wanted to do challenge, and I've always said, I'm going to do a challenge. And then everybody amazing does a marathon, and I was like, okay, but not that I've run one or even a half, but I was like, I want to do something bigger. And I'm raising money for children with cancer. After kind of what I went through, and sadly lost my uncle as well at the end of last year, I was like, no child should go through that. And for me, a really big thing is to raise money for this. So I really want this, and he used to raise money for children with cancer, and he's done a lot of challenges. Okay. So that's kind of a big motivation for me as well, of doing this challenge, but also to kind of push myself outside my comfort zone. One day I'll be like 50 and life will have passed me by, you know, and I want to go and experience it and do these amazing things. So TSP was one, and then potentially another one this year. I haven't got anything planned. Anyone has any ideas, let me know.
Row across the Atlantic?
Well, I know. I know someone that did that. I trained some girls that did it. That looked mental. maybe one day.
Finally, our last question, and it's something that we ask always on HumanWindow when we're interviewing someone, and that is, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Yeah, interesting
knowing
one.
What you know now.
Yeah, I think to say, back yourself more. I think I've grown in confidence so much. I was thinking about it on the way here, so from when I started PTing and being scared to even go up to anyone and be like, hey, and I'm always second guessing myself, from even when I started with hockey, even though I was, playing international level, never really believed I was that good. Well, I was obviously doing something right. And I think it's a British thing, right? Never to kind of pat yourself on the back and be like, actually, I did pretty well with that. Yeah. And I think for me, that is a big thing, to kind of say yes to everything that comes my way, but also to really go out and get stuff. Don't wait for anything to come to you, because then it's never going to happen. You have to go out there and know what you want to get And if you get turned down for it, fine. But you have to keep kind of focusing on those goals and really pushing myself and yourself as far as you can all the time. So I think definitely would be back myself and kind of push myself to get into those awkward conversations and stuff and find those opportunities myself a little bit more.
No, that's a great answer. I mean, that's probably the advice I would give myself too. I'm not just saying that. It's like my motto this year is to say yes to everything as well.
That's mine.
And you're right. So for people who want to find out more information about you, perhaps support your efforts with the Speed Project, where's their best place to find you and check it all out?
So Instagram will be best place. So it's just Maxey, Maxey Fitness. So just Maxey Fitness on Instagram, and then everything on there. Emails on there. If you have any questions or anything, then give me a shout.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Kate, for sitting down and chatting to us
Thank
about
you.
that. Cheers.